what I found about AI, or they call it deep learning, is very interesting. As the computer power increases and the cost is reduced, lots of the activities that we do can be put into the computer, and they may come up with the suggestions. Like a Siri in the Apple's iPhone, there's a dialogue you can do with the computer. If I have a question, the computer can answer. And the computer can answer a lot more things, to the point that perhaps the diagnosis of the cancer is better done by the computer. Maybe you have heard of such a story. Instead of the doctor doing it, because there are so many papers and the difficulty to check out the MRI and so forth, but the computer can do very quickly, so the computer can come up with a solution. So what it indicates in this case is that a lot of what we do as an individual can be replaced by the computer. I never thought that this is happening so quickly, but I start to realize that many jobs, maybe 90% of what we do may be replaced by the computer. That sounds unreal, but if you think about the agricultural population, maybe 99%, maybe down to 20%, 10%, each industrial revolution and information revolution can change the work we do. So I think you need to think about how to use AI, relate to AI, and also figure out how you can, again, navigate your life. What it does in the computer, in simple slide, is that there are lots of data, but the data can become information and knowledge, and if you synthesize those, there's the wisdom that can be developed. And the computer basically is trying to do that, so that all the confusion and chaos and the information, so many big data you have, can be synthesized with the computer's help to come up with a solution. And that wisdom we can relate to each other, between me and my AI, or the company, hospital operation, and agricultural, whatever, and automotive, self-guiding vehicle, and all sorts of things happening. So I think you need to also think about that as the potential coming up. And I never thought that the time is so quick, but the situation is happening. This is the Richard Feynman, who is a Nobel Prize winner. And he's talking about something interesting, I thought, when I read this. He said, I don't know what's the matter with people. They don't learn by understanding. They learn by some other way, by rote or something. Their knowledge is so fragile. So what it means to me is that the information and the knowledge is there, and there's a habit there, but the synthesizing come with the wisdom is not there, so we just wander around. I don't know if it makes sense, but if you know all the cause and effect relationship and how the information is made clarified, as we talked about the information in the mini company, in a glass wall in the organization, instead of hidden, if they become practiced and the red and green become clear, you start to know what to do. But if the data is not processed and the information is captured, there's lots of information in the field service or the shop floor or any place, but it's all hidden somewhere. That information is not processed, and therefore we just run around having a meeting and discussion. But many of those can be replaced by AI, and I think we need to practice more of the mini company to streamline, clarify. That helps the transition better, and I'm sure something's going to happen in your lifetime, maybe in the next 5, 10, 20 years. The software and so forth can replace you. I don't mean to create the fear of this, but I also think that AI can be your friend, because we have a judgment but the habit too. But the Siri or new AI can help us guide the direction. But to do that, we have to know what the AI may do and be prepared. If I think about AI, and AI is related to the neural network, how the brain works, So what they have done in the last 5-10 years is that neurons network, they understand it and use that same concept in the computer and plug in lots of information. They come up with a solution to it, okay? So I see the analogy is applied in how we use our brain. When I mentioned about the Feynman, he said something like, we don't understand well enough. And what it means to me is that we only chase for the symptom, the phenomena, the problem in front of us, but not deep inside where the problems are, we are not clear. Like in the case of organization. So organization, you heard about the red and green and where the problems diagnose and come together as a team. Each individual has the same structure of organization. And if we use just the brain and the symptom of the issue and sending the email back and doing this and that, that's the end of the brain. It may not utilize all the possibilities that we have in our whole, structure. So one of the study is about the brain wave, and they monitor the guy who is thinking. And the one on the left, top left, is indicating only a certain portion of the brain is utilized. To me, that's the symptom of chasing the fire and not looking at the total picture. You have to do it. So there's a moment you do it, but on the right is the brain when the eyes are closed and he is digesting and mind is calm, not reacting. Then you have access to the big data and the issues that may exist in your brain, almost to the level of unconsciousness. The point is that when you come up with a creative idea, you are doing lots of thinking, but in the bathroom and sleeping and driving, and mind is resting, idea pops up. So it's kind of like thinking using the brain, but you kind of like to meditate, be quiet-minded. So I use the word, use your brain, but listen to your heart. Just brain enough is not quite good. As in the case of the psychosomatic disease, if you think too much, your stomach suffers and stressed. But if you're busy, you don't notice your stomach is suffering. So you are too narrowly focused and your balance is lost. The organization happened the same way. And to me, AI help us to not to do that if we understand how the AI works. So we need to learn how to process the information and not react. Of course, it's easy to say, difficult to do, but that's part of our job. Otherwise, we may get lost in the journey. So, few more slides. We have different skills and background, but we may have something common that we want to utilize. We need to have a mechanism to do it, including how we use our brain so that the synthesis of the idea can be made more efficiently. And we want to do it as a group. Yesterday, toward the end of my visit, someone asked me, what is the one word that I can explain to capture the essence of mini company? I don't know where he is. And I thought that's an interesting question. I thought about it. So what's the point? And I came up with the answer at 3 o'clock in the morning, so I wrote this slide. And I explained to you. Another question is, what is the gyroscope of our journey? I use the word gyroscope. I ask you to think, what is your gyroscope? And what's the interest we may have in common? Those are the interesting questions to me. One of the answers I came up about the mini companies, I used the word waku-waku, meaning the Japanese word, the sense of happiness or aliveness. So that's the gyroscope. When you have aliveness, you are in the right direction. When you don't have it, you are not quite engaging yourself. So do I have my gyroscope functioning all the time? Right? Often not. But you want to find every now and then reflect in your mirror, you are in the right direction or not. That's part of the PDCA, I think, we need to do. And also sense of having a dream and purpose, mission, heart at the center. Things like that is important. And not just artificial, but maybe natural intelligence that is embedded in our structure. And Anton de Exupéry says, it is only with the heart that one can see rightly. What is essential is invisible. So you cannot just search for the solution for the brain, but listen to your heart. So that's basically the story. And I wish you the best for your journey at work and in your life. Thank you.